Work it. Hello, everybody.
I don't know why your intros always make me laugh.
Because they're so awkward.
I feel like it's never not awkward. Like, I don't know what people do when they're by themselves. And you're just like, just start talking to yourself.
Some
Like,
people are really good at just being like, hi, and whatever. Like, it's really natural, but I feel like I get all like inside, and then I try to combat that by just being like extra goofy about it. So,
hello. Welcome back. All of the above. Thanks for
welcome back to where? Where have they come to?
I don't know. Where have you come to? Welcome to On the Lamb podcast. I'm Tamu.
I'm NalediS.
And we are sisters in Ontario, Canada, various corners. And yeah.
We're from various corners of Ontario, Canada. Just two.
Kind of three, because we didn't grow up in either of the towns that we currently live in. So, take that. Not really different corners, though.
Well, then I guess you're from Winnipeg.
Well, there you go. Various corners of Canada.
More like the middle of it.
The province outline on the map has corners, so corners. Anyways, we're mostly
a rough ride today, people.
I feel like it is every day. We're mostly going to talk about knitting and crochet and yarn and all that fun stuff, and digress several times along the way. So grab your
something non-yarn related to show today.
What? I don't even know what that is. That's not even possible.
I'm not allowed to. I did it with my hands.
Do you like to do it yourself?
And edit this all out. Hello, welcome to On the Lamb podcast. I'm going to show it. It's really fast. It won't take long. I feel like I don't have a lot of interesting knitting content to show, so I'm like, well, this is something else I did.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday, how like I feel like I want to cast on all the things because I feel like I bound off a few things, but I haven't really cast on many things. So now I just feel like, I don't really have, like I have stuff on the needles, but again, it's like things I'm not really actively working on because I'm trying to finish this test knit and yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It might actually be a short one today.
We'll see. Yeah. What are you wearing?
I've been out Breeze by Stephen West with the Pacifica Yarn Company yarn.
Yeah,
it's so awkward. We were discussing it while I was wearing it this morning. For one thing, it's scratchy. Now that I've like actually just have like a tank top on underneath, I'm like, it's not comfortable. What?
So it's not soft yet?
It's not soft. Yeah, I know. I need to wear it more and wash it more, but we'll see. It's an awkward. I think I will have to open up the back and give myself some more room because it is just such an awkward wear at this point.
And it's not stretchy. I feel like that makes
sense.
And
it's not stretchy. Yeah. I just if I move, if I'm trying to do anything, ends up. I should just see like all of me right now. It ends up here, and then I would have to be readjusting my hunchback all the time, and yeah.
I think that's what I said with mine. That I'm like, it makes me feel like it's like a shirt that I like. It's you only wear to special events when your arms are not going to lift more than like elbow height. It's like I need to get a glass to my mouth or a snack to my mouth, but I'm never actually going to like lift my arms up. If I hug people, it has to be like a low hug.
Yeah. Before after I'm done holding my kids all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, and you're right. The eyelets that are, we're supposed to really be on.
They get pulled way back and
all the way back here. So
surgery. Hopefully I'll remember to bring you that yarn next time I see you because I think you gave it all back to me.
Yeah, I did give it all back to you.
Yeah.
What are you wearing?
I am wearing my Beguile shawl. That is finally finished.
Is it very warm though?
No, actually. I can feel that it's warm up here because the way I have it on. I have it on kind of like bandana cowl style. And
Yeah.
that's not how I actually put it on, but I usually like put it on and then tie it underneath. And you can see there's still like ends. Whatevs. So I can feel that it's warm that way, but I feel like if I wore it where it didn't really fold over at the top quite so much, where I kept the tails out, it's actually very light. And I know that I think I've heard that like BFL is warm, but I don't know if it's just because the gauge, like, 'cause this was a very light fingering, maybe almost bordering on lace weight, that it's actually like, yeah, it's really, really light. So, yeah, so it's done. It's been blocked, although I feel like I'm going to need to steam the edges. I tried to use the locking wires, but I don't know if it's just because it's like a straight edge along the sides. I was like, I really don't know what I'm doing. So I like wove it through, but I think either I would have needed to weave it through like a little closer together. I was kind of going like every inch or so, kind of up and down. So I think the edge is probably not quite as smooth as it could be. It's rolling in a bit. And then a few things that I just realized were like, not design issues, but just like little kinks that are part of the design process that I have to work out. So like just the way I had cast on at the start kind of made this like U shape. It's really, really hard to tell. When it's laid flat, you can see how like the top edges would go straight out from here, but then this part drops down because my whole cast on was actually like this width. So and there's really no way to block that out. So I think for mine, I'm either just going to leave it or I may kind of modify it and do like a little keyhole there, like kind of put something across and a little button or something. Just to kind of hold it up.
All the colors are so pretty. Oh, that yarn. Oh, it's so gorgeous.
Yeah, and then the other thing was just like with the bind off. I'm like happy with the bind off overall, but I just realized like in the middle where the panel is, I either probably should have gone like one more even row or bound off differently there. So when you do yours, we'll play around with it a little bit, but overall I'm quite happy. And yeah.
Pause, I'm hearing my name. But I was just saying your FO and what you're wearing transitions well into my first whip.
Right.
Which,
oh my gosh, you did it right.
I finally got it right. Oh my gosh, what a
Did
knob.
you cast on how I said?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. It still has like a little bit of a peak, but
it has a little bit, but it won't be like yours.
No, I think it'll be fine.
Oh my gosh, why can't I hold this? So and I don't know if it's just mine, if it needs to be blocked or if I was tight or what, but like it really, not only does it like have a little bit of that U, but it really rolls here, you know?
Yeah, that's stockinette rolls.
Okay.
Just fact of life. Once you block it, it should be okay-ish.
Yeah, anyway, so this is mine.
The camera.
The color is extra strange in here today.
Can you move closer to the camera?
Yeah. Look at that. We should like split screen with the image of what I had going on last week. But what I figured out was, and it's funny too, because now I can remember something you said a couple episodes ago about like, oh, this is a different kind of cabling than I've ever done before, because you're not rearranging as many stitches, or you're only I don't know if I should say this or not. You only rearrange one stitch basically.
Yeah, there's lots of different kinds of cables. Like some are even, where it's like, 2 stitches move one way, 2 stitches are, like you're doing 2 and 2, and some are uneven kinds of cables where I've done cables where you have to get like 1 stitch across like 6 stitches, or, like there's tons of different variations to cables. That's no secret. But yeah, on this one, it's like you're only moving for each each chunk that you cable, you're only moving one thing out of place kind of thing.
I was taking
2 and 2.
I was taking 3 off the needles.
Okay.
Knit 3 and put these ones back on. So I was doing over 6 stitches because that's what I was doing on my Freebird. And I totally disregarded the fact that it says 1/2. Like I was just like, I was focused on the LC, RC, so like whether it was left cross or right cross. And because on the chart, it does show 6 stitches.
Right.
So that's what my brain picked up. And I wasn't really watching the chart all that. Like, I wasn't really using the chart. I preferred the words. So anyways.
It was funny because it was like looking at your previous one, I was like, yeah, your cables look really nice if we were going for a honeycomb cable, because it's like that cable pattern that you were doing. I used on, remember that hat that I made for Reese that's like a knockoff pattern of the Jovi hat from Elf?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
That oatmeal kind of color hat. That there's like two sections of that exact like that honeycomb cable where you like stack it up so the holes kind of stagger. So I was like, it's a really nice honeycomb pattern, but that's not what we're trying to do.
Oh my gosh. The funniest thing was, I was like,
maybe like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm following the pattern exactly. And like, I don't want to tell you you're not, because I'm not there to see it, but like, it doesn't look right.
Another one of those moments where I was like, I'm not trying to be rude to you, but it's something about your pattern.
It was really funny the night that you figured it out, when you're like, I just figured out what I did wrong, and I really want to blame you or the pattern, but I can't. I was like, I knew it wasn't me, and I knew it wasn't the pattern because I didn't even invent that pattern. I was like, I literally took a picture from the book like, and sent it to you.
So funny. Anyways, this is like slow going for me. I've got it now, but it's like at a certain point in the day, I can't work. I can only do like one chart repeat a day. And then after that, I want to just make it, I want it to be intuitive. Yeah. So I try to like just follow along in my head, and then I make a mistake and I have to F-frog back a whole line. So I basically can only do one chart repeat per day right now. So this will, I'll have this ready by 2020. Oh my gosh. Anyways, it's really pretty. The yarn is flipping gorgeous. It's not that soft, it's very grippy. The this is also Spin Cycle 100% BFL. What's the colorway again? I don't remember.
Deep Bump, I think.
Say again?
Deep Bump, I think.
Deep Bump. I'll plug it at the bottom if we're wrong.
I'm pretty sure it's Deep Bump.
Yeah, the bag of other yarn is downstairs. I should have just kept a tag in here, but that would be too much planning in advance. Anyway, so that's my first whip. Put that away. What else you got going on, girl?
Well, I'll show you this because you've already seen it. My test knit for Annie pattern's already out. Deadline was the 30th, but as I said last week, I just like, when my back was really hurting, I was having a really hard time working on it because I feel like it was too heavy. So whatever, I'm on Sleeve Island now. I'm not complaining about the pattern at all. I'm just like, ugh, so much sleeve. I'm like, I wonder if she would care if I only made it like elbow length. Like,
oh, keep going.
I know.
I'm just so happy next winter.
It feels like it's taking a long time because it's not this gauge. I don't find fast for my hands, and there's so much yarn, like there's so much sweater to work with right now that I can't like trying to turn for the sleeve. It's like you knit one half and then I gotta like basically twist the work to knit the other half, because I'm like, I'm not gonna like pick it up and turn the whole thing and then pick it up and turn it all back, and then the yarn's getting all twisted around itself, and
right.
So what else? It'll be done when it's done.
It'll be so gorgeous when it's done. Oh my God.
It'll be really nice when it's done, but then it'll be too hot to wear it. So
I know. But it will be ready for the first day that you can wear it.
Yeah, right.
Fall, you're gonna be like, winning.
They're like, I don't even have to worry about going out shopping for new sweaters or anything.
No, you get to pull out the one that you didn't get to wear all the time.
Which is kind of nice, like to have like a fresh sweater ready to go.
That's what I'm thinking about.
As opposed to having something on the needles that I'm like, I want to wear it now. I got to get it done.
That's what I'm thinking about for my Freebird and my this Carbeth. Like I'm like, they're not gonna probably get worn until the fall, but
yeah,
I'm so happy when the fall comes. I get to put on a brand new thing I've been wanting to wear. Yeah.
I had like a little trouble with my numbers picking up the side. So if anybody else is like going to knit it, I did like plan it out well. So here's my like tip: when you have to pick up like a lot of stitches along an edge what I've been doing is kind of like marking. So I'm like, I'll fold the work in half. And I think I feel like this is not like something I invented. I think I watched a YouTube video, and I feel like the lady had a British accent, but I cannot remember whose video it was. Because it was like another pattern for Annie that I was trying to pick up stitches, and I like tried to pick them up, and I was like, this is not right. Like, this looks terrible. It might have been for a collar or something, maybe for the studio tee or something like that. Anyways, so their recommendation and what I've been doing is like that. I had to pick up stitches along the whole edge for the front and back across the shoulder. So I like used the top of the shoulder kind of as my marker and like folded it in half, marked the middle, folded those sections in half, marked again, so I could divide the number of stitches into smaller sections and make sure like I have enough here in the first quarter and then up to half and da-da-da-da. I still somehow ended up, because I think the way the math worked out, it was like in this quarter you have to pick up like 22 and a half stitches. I'm like, I guess I just kept picking up like one extra for each one. So I did end up like my numbers were a little off, but I think I saved it. And because she said, try to make sure the numbers are right. Because if you've seen the final pictures, it has a ribbon like closure on the side. So there's like buttonholes on the front and back panels, and then you use ribbon to tie it closed on the side. So you want your buttonholes to line up. I'm not totally sure mine line up. So it might have like I might weave the ribbon through so it makes like a more interesting, like if they're a little off, like kind of just do like diagonal on the front so it's like not obvious that it's like off. But when I did the second side, I like really paid attention to my numbers from the first side, so I had equal number of stitches, so like they're equally off on the right and left. So I'm like,
as long as it's symmetrical.
What? Yeah.
As long as it's, whatever you do is balanced on both sides.
Yeah. Well, because I've done other patterns before where I like messed up side one, fixed it on side two, and was like, I'll go back and fix side one now because it's going to bug me that I know that they're like, if it's off by like one stitch, I don't care. But if it's off by like enough stitches that like if you actually looked, you'd be like, that sleeve is longer than that sleeve. Like, you know, feel like you got to fix it. So whatever, it's fixed. I will hopefully have this done. I'm trying to like work on it as much as I can, but starting to get to that like uphill-y feeling, like, you know, where you're like, I didn't want it to be done. And I think also it's like my own fault because I keep telling myself like, once it's done, then I can do this. And then once it's done, I can cast on that. And once it's done, then it's like even more like, just F it. I'll just cast on what I want. So I'm like, no, don't do it. Finish it. You'll be happy that you did. Just get it done. You know, my oldest had a dentist appointment this morning, so I was trying to work on this a little bit more. So I have now bound off wrist warmer / leg warmer number 1.
Oh, just number 1. Okay.
Yeah, test knit for Kate Celine, her new wrist warmer pattern, but I've added extra repeats. I think I added 2 extra spot rows and then the same amount of rib to make leg warmers for NalediS oldest. And then I just cast on the second one this morning. Okay. At the dentist.
Are you still enjoying knitting it?
I feel like it's matching really well with my bag.
It is. Look at that.
Pink polka dot.
Yeah, cool.
Gray and pink polka dots galore.
Get up again to close my window. Hold on. My goodness. Worst episode ever. That's what this is going to be called.
It'll still be shorter, but it'll be shorter because there'll be like 12 million things edited out.
Oh, man. Okay. If it's too disjointed, I'll just keep it. Keep all the getting ups and getting downs.
Yeah, so passed on the second one for that. The bag is Sew Not Crochet, not like K-N-O-T. She's Canadian. I really love this bag. I just think it's so cute. It's got a little like, I'm assuming, I think that's interfacing. I don't know sewing stuff. It's got a little something between the layers, which gives it like a little sturdiness. And I love that it has like an external zipper pocket. Makes a huge difference. That like goes all the way down to the bottom. And this is like one of those, like, you know, when like people do like the little details that I wouldn't think of. Like this is just like one of those little handy details. I think it's so much cuter than little knots.
Yeah.
So there's that. And do you have other whips?
Yeah, my car bath is coming along. I don't know how much I had last time.
You had part of a sleeve that you then told me you had to frog.
Yeah, and I frogged it because I was just knitting it last time we were podcasting and not doing any increasing. So I had like almost the whole sleeve done. Anyway, so now I've increased it, and actually I just keep going back and forth with it. It was there's supposed to be more increasing, which I did incorporate, but then when I put it on, it was like the sleeve. I have really small upper arms. Like there's like almost no increase at all. Yeah. They're still bub-ish. It's not like I have super tonedness to them. They're just super skinny.
Yeah.
So when I did the increasing as suggested, it was just like this. It was like this sweater, you know, like this exaggerated, but it was really big. So I had to take 4 stitches back out. It's still a little bulkier than I would love on my upper arm, but
you probably wear like a t-shirt or something underneath.
Yeah, there's something underneath. It won't be as bulky.
You just don't want it to be like too tight.
Yeah, no, I don't want it to be too tight, but it's definitely not.
Did you swatch for that before you cast on?
No, I didn't.
But only thing I'm thinking of is like if it blocks even a lot bigger and you're already a little bit bigger, could end up. I could get a new sweater.
No, if it's too big, I'll still wear it. You see my wardrobe.
Hey, I've given you lots of things. You will give me the sweater if it's too big.
Nope, it won't.
I'll steal it when you're not looking.
Anyway, so yeah, the body, I once this sleeve is done, I'll go back and use some more yarn on the body and then join them all. And then I'm just going to show it really quick because I haven't done I have been knitting, just not that much. If I had just stayed focused on like one project since this last podcast, something would be FO'd, but I just do like a tiny little bit of progress on everything. So I think I've got like 6 repeats now of this first side done of my Freebird cocoon.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that, like little bits of progress here and there.
I'm sure it's just boring for people to see like, okay, yeah, a little bit more of the same thing from last week. Yeah. In terms of not podcasting, I feel good because, yeah, I can see it growing.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next for you? I have a couple other things that, again, are just as quick to show as these ones.
Really my only other whip right this moment, I feel like, did I finish something else? I can't remember what else I was working on. I think it's just this sweater that's like, and this shawl that were like taking up all my time. So I'm like, I haven't really replaced them with a whole lot except that. So I'll first show what I showed you, which is.
Yes, you were trying to show me yesterday.
So sometimes, I think I've mentioned this before, about how like sometimes when I design, it's like I just cast on the real thing and just like play around with it as I go. But I've done that before sometimes with crochet, and certain shapes, I know that mathematically there is a system to them, and I don't really care to like work it out on paper or like, you know, to like figure out the math ahead of time. So I just go, and then like things don't end up the shape I want them. So I was like, oh, I'm going to test this out, which probably this isn't even a really accurate test because I probably would have had to go a lot more repeats to keep figuring it out. But I got the gist of what I wanted to see. Now it does not fit Betty at all like it would fit a real person. So this is Bundle Up Betty. She's looking like a flasher with just her little sweater on. Designed by Andre Sue Knits. You can find her on Instagram and such. And she has an online shop where you can get Bundle Up Betty. This one, you can get her with a cherry wood body. And now they have Bundle Up Bobby. And she also has, I think it comes with a free pattern for a hat. She has a few free patterns that you can download and then some paid patterns to dress Betty. So, you know, she's kind of like reminiscent of paper dolls back in the day. we showed her in a previous episode back around Christmas time that I'd gotten one for me and one for NalediS because we were huge into paper dolls when we were little. Not like all the time, but for sure. That was like one of our favorite toys to play with at my Nana's was our paper dolls, Gem and the Rockers, and all of their clothes and accessories. So at some point, my Bundle Up Betty will have a Gem and the Rockers inspired outfit. Because I downloaded or I like found pictures of the outfits that our Gem and the Rockers had. So I'm going to try and replicate one of them or kind of piece something together. But anyway, so yesterday I had this like idea in my head of like something I wanted to create. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll, sometimes like it's easy also to mock up designs in the bulkier weight yarn than maybe what you're intending to use because it'll go faster. But I was like, doing this in bulky, I feel like it won't get the same effect, and it would take a lot of yarn to make something my size because it's crochet. So I was like, oh, I have tons of like little scraps and little balls and samples of yarn and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, I'll make something for Betty. So I mocked up this little. So I won't tell you what's cool about it until I'm closer to having my real one done. But it took me like, I don't even know, 30 minutes at most to make it up, and probably only took me longer because I had to like stop and write down each row so I wouldn't mess it up. And then I cast on in the yarn that I was intending to use, which is Borgo di Pazzi Fresco, which is mostly, it's 70%, it says viscose, and 30% lino or linen. It's really nice. It's quite soft. It has a really gorgeous like sheen to it that the camera's probably not really picking up. And the colorway is called Mauve, and it's just really pretty. So I had started.
I wanted to use.
Pardon me?
Isn't that what you asked me if I wanted to use it?
Yeah, it's because I had started it and then something else popped in my head that was in my stash. And so I was like, oh no, I want to use that instead. And I'll see if you want to use this. So I did start it with this. I just frog out those couple of rows, but
okay, so I will use
it'll be really pretty in this too. Picked this one up at Galt House of Yarns. And then I realized there was something else in my stash that I wanted to use. So I cast on again. That's just the little starting of it. I have no idea. I kind of know what it's going to be called, but I don't know for sure, so I'm going to leave that out. I have no idea when that'll be done. Part of me is like obsessed with it, and I really want to like keep going to see the idea grow. But I also don't want to rush it because, again, there's just certain shapes with knitting and crochet that, again, I know math is important too. Like there is a specific reason if you want it to grow in the way that you want it to, you have to have the increases spaced a certain way and stuff, and I just don't want to mess it up because in my head it's going to be really cute, and so I really want it to actually work. Yeah, so there's that. So the other color that I'm going to use with that, I think I'm going to use this. So that colorway, so they're both by Vegan Yarn, which is yarn dyer in BC. She does all plant-based bases, plant-based yarn bases, and I believe for all of her dye is like eco-friendly or natural. I think it's all natural. If you go on her website, certain lines, but I just don't know if I just don't want to blanketly say all of her dyes are natural, but I know if you go into certain of her yarn lines, and she has quite a few bases now compared to when I first found her, there's ones where the colorway name is actually what she used to dye. So it'll be like indigo and logwood, indigo and this light. And like, it's really cool to see how many colors she can get from all these natural dyes and the natural dye combinations. Because I've seen other natural dyers who can get some amazing colors, but they're paler or just not as vibrant. And she can get some really interesting colors from natural dyes. So this one is called Nana Komatsu, like this hot pink kind of variegated or slightly tonal color. And then this one is called Manga, and it's like navy speckles, like kind of slightly navy variegation with a white kind of background, and then little bitty speckles of like a very similar hot pink, yellow, some like different blue tones. There's spots where I'm assuming like the yellow and the blue together make it kind of greeny. Yeah, it's really cool and interesting. So I think I'm going to kind of color block it like this on the outsides, moving towards this, but we'll see how it actually works out. Yeah, so there's that. And that's all I really have like actively on the needles. I think also why I'm like resisting the urge to cast on is because one, Sister KAL to when I'm done my sweater, then I want to go back to my white light MCAL because I've done nothing on it since probably the last time I showed it because I was trying to buckle down on the test knit. The MCAL is done, and I'm trying to resist the urge to like look at people's finished pictures because I'm like, I don't want to ruin the rest of the surprise, so I'm just going to try and like keep going with the clues and see. I kind of know what it is because I have seen a couple pics, but not pics that showed it like all the way laid out flat. So yeah, I'm trying to resist the urge and just keep following the clues once I actually have space to do it. Other than that, I have, let me show you a couple acquisitions and then we can show our Sister KAL yarns and talk about what we're gonna make. So last week I was wearing my Stonehenge red, like my scrunchy cowl that I made from that Stonehenge yarn. It's mill ends, like this line is called Crazy. It's mill ends from their own yarns. So after I got that one, then I went back to the same person who I had bought from her D-stash and bought these two because I'm just like, I really like it. It's so fun to work with and to see like what the colors are going to be. And she had these two kind of listed side by side in one listing. They kind of look like and you can see like spots where the colors are really similar. Like the pink section with the pink and teal is repeated on this one and stuff. So I think they're going to be really fun together. I'm not totally sure if I'm going to do another scrunchy cowl or hold on to them for a bit and see if some other idea comes to mind. Because I think altogether it's only about 400 or maybe just under 400 yards. Sometimes they're listed as sport weight, sometimes they're listed as DK. So yeah, so there's that. We'll see what happens with those. And way back now, I can't remember when, like 2 to 3 months ago, one of the fiber festivals, I can't think of what it was. If it was Rhinebeck or whatever it's called. I don't know, one of the fiber festivals, there was a yarn dyer or a yarn producer called Abundant Earth. And let me see. So Abundant Earth Fiber in the US. They had gone to one of the yarn festivals, were staying at the hotel, had all their yarn in a trailer in the parking lot, like on the back of their truck or whatever. Came out in the morning, the trailer was gone. As far as I know, it has not been recovered. So
crazy.
They, obviously were like having a really hard time with that because that's not only the violation of having someone steal something so significant from you, but also like they were on their way to the festival. They had not set up their booth. So that was like their whole show right there gone, plus like a ton of their stock and inventory gone. And I think, I don't want to misquote, look them up on Instagram because I think they have like their own farm, plus they spin other people's fiber as well. Anyway, so they were saying to people like the best way you can support us would be to like pre-order yarns so that we can start production and rebuild our stock. And they did also like open up for donations because people had requested that as well. So I went on and I, a bit of a bleeding heart. I got to help the guy out. Plus I am really enjoying like sheepier wools. Like I love, my super washes and all that kind of stuff. But I'm really enjoying sheepy wools. I don't know why, in a phase. So yeah, so this is their Joseph and Annie line, which is I think a sport weight. It's 90% US Merino, 10% Washington, I think, Targhee, which is a different breed of sheep. It's actually quite soft. I was thinking it'd be like more stretchy, more rustic, but it's actually quite soft. So I bought one skein of each of the colorways that they make this line in. So one's called Cinnamon. It's probably really hard to see, but it has like a natural base, but like with teeny flecks of like a warm brown. And then the other one I got is the Pepper colorway. So it's like a slightly more gray background with like slightly darker brown flecks. And I just think they're really cute kind of together. Like they don't match, but they go. So I don't know what I'm gonna make with that, but I'm quite happy that I was able to support them and try out their yarn.
Yeah,
And, yeah.
such a crazy situation. Oh my goodness.
A crazy situation, but as usual, yarning community pulls together and helps out.
Yeah, that's the wonderful part.
It was funny because like a few days before I knew mine was probably going to arrive, because of course I like stock my Canada Post app with my tracking numbers on it. A few days before mine arrived, I could see from Instagram that other people's were arriving. And so I was like, oh, I'm getting so excited. And it's like so many people, like people who are like well-known names, people who are like, my other Instagram friends and acquaintances who were, had all supported. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And they had posted something, I think, at one point too, saying like, thank you to everybody who reached out and supported them and this and that. So cool.
Yeah.
All right, Sister KAL. Have I mishap from yesterday?
Oh yeah, right.
It just happens to be sitting here because I'm like, I kind of feel bad throwing it out, but I don't know what else to do with it. I can't remember what this brand is. And I feel like it's like their signature kind of handle style. So lots of people will look at it and know exactly what it is. And I can't remember. But I know they're like handmade hooks. I think somebody was destashing them. Not furls. It's not furls. No.
Oh, okay.
My replacement one, the one I'm using now, is furls.
Oh, okay.
One of their newer lines that are a little bit more cost effective, but still nice and ergonomic and whatever. But
aerodynamic,
yeah. I can't remember what this one's called. I want to say Loopy U, but I feel like that's totally wrong. Anyways, I don't know what I did. I don't know if I dropped it or I know it was sitting unattended on the table for a bit. So I don't know if one of the kids picked it up and something happened. I don't know. But somehow I just like, it was funny because I picked up my project, was about to start hooking, was like, wait a minute, what? Because it's not like an obvious problem until you go to hook the yarn and you realize like, there's nothing to hook onto. Frick. So annoying.
I'm going to show this really quick.
Mm-hmm.
5 inches in the wrong side. Again, the color of the screen is. Oh, that's not bad. Okay. Yeah, the cord doesn't help, but
yeah.
Making more progress. Now the colors are not good. There we go. No, the colors.
I want to see the color closer. I want to see the color closer to the cord.
Let me hold it this way, maybe. Closest to the cord now is into a new color.
Oh, okay. Whatever that color is just before it. Is it like green and yellow or green?
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's like green and like this gray brown.
Okay.
And like an emeraldish green, and then like a like there would have, okay, I don't know for sure because I don't know how dyeing process works, but it's like they would have added like the green and like the gray brown, and then what came together ended up being like a yellowish, whether something breaks or I don't know how it works. But it's like they didn't add that yellow in. That was just a byproduct of those
like bleeding.
Yeah. Anyways, really interesting, like, and they really picked a good, like, the trend, like they chose the order well, to pick out certain, like, to have this neon after this crazy, the neon yellow, this crazy like combination of neons, and then this one, and then this like this, I feel like this section with the eyelets helps to start to tone everything down a little bit, and like it really, I don't know, plays well beside this like Tilly section. Anyway,
I feel like on the camera, that section that we were talking about, that I was like, I want to see that. I feel like it looks like neon camo or something. Like there's something kind of camo about it, and also it's very bright. Like the yellow pops are kind of bright. So I was like, yeah, it looks like neon camo.
Anyway, and I'm glad that that's the color for the eyelet section too, as opposed to it being like the garter section. I feel like it would look like mud or something.
Yeah. What's the next color that's coming out? Like, looks like almost like a baby pink or something.
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting color as well. Will this show up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are the mints in that mints in the yellow in that section, or are they underneath, like just showing through? Okay.
Yeah, the mints in yellow. It doesn't look good. The colors almost never look good on the cake. But then once you see them worked up, like they usually.
Well, on the cake right now, actually, it's really interesting. Something about the way the colors are pooling. It looks like almost like argyle or kind of like a crosshatch.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's why I was like, I couldn't tell if it's just like the way it's unwinding, if it's coming through from underneath, or if that's all part of that section. Anyways, I think it was like when I was putting on this shawl that I was like, man, I'm gonna have the coolest summery like light shawls to wear.
Yeah. And this won't, I think I'm trying to slow myself down. I could have this a lot farther. Well, I was
like, don't slow yourself.
Well, because I'm trying to work on, I should almost have it like as a reward for each time I do a section repeat on the test knit. And then I also wonder, I don't know how it's gonna go. There's a lot more mini skeins in this cake, and yet the sections are getting so short already. So
yeah.
It'll be sort of interesting to see what happens for the rest of it. I was going to talk to you about that actually. So we'll talk about that after we stop recording.
Yeah.
Or I could just wait till I get to it. And
if you're worried about running out of that project because you enjoy that shawl, I have another set of minis. Okay. You could totally make another one. It'll be different. It's not neon and crazy. A while back, Lolo did it. It had these little box sets with mini cakes of 8 of her colorways, so it won't be as big as that.
Right.
But I have other Lolo colorways like that ash or something like left over from my other shawl that you could probably splice in with it if you wanted to like extend it even more. Sure. But it's like, yeah, just like 8 random colorways, I think randomly put together that were like together in one little like box. I think it's 8. That would make that I was also thinking like, because they're just kind of random. It's like, I can't really picture what else you would do with them together. Like you'd have to split them up and just use them for like toes and cuffs or whatever. But I was kind of thinking like, ooh, this would make like a fun one, and just like do them in the order of the names on the thing. So they're like really random rather than trying to, I mean, you could totally do whatever you want, I don't care. But because at first looking at them, I was like, they almost want to go together into something, but then I feel like it's like, you end up with like 2 awkward colors that I'm just like, I don't know where to put them. So I'm like, maybe just follow like the order of the names on the list. So it's like, you know, out of my hands, what right. The color order is and whether or not it looks right. And then, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then that'll probably be enough of next week then.
Week. Yeah.
Not really, but.
Finish it before I see you.
Maybe. Finish that Tunisian sweater before I see you.
So not gonna happen. It's funny because it pops in my head every once in a while. I'm like, yeah, I should finish that and give it to NalediS. I'm like,
there really is something about knitting something for someone else that is like the excitement of it doesn't last that long. Mm-hmm. This one is different because it's like I knit to get to the next color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like excited to knit something for someone else, but it's like, it depends what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and how excited I am to knit the thing in general. Like sometimes like why I'm not a great made to order knitter is because like, well, I'll make it for you, but I just don't really feel like working on that kind of project right now. So
that's
if
how I feel about Beguile.
What?
How I feel about Beguile.
Yeah. If you don't want to knit it, you can give it back and I'll knit it.
It's like I know I will, not right now.
Yeah, yeah.
If you need it done quickly though, you may need to take it back.
No, I don't think it's a big rush.
Okay. If I can just do like a chart repeat a day and you don't care how long that takes.
You'll be at it for years.
What's that?
I said if you do that, you'll be at it for years.
Well, then
I feel like if you could push through and do a couple repeats in a row while the rows are still kind of short, you will get the rhythm of the pattern and how to read it. Because that's the thing is like, it's not necessarily that I found it intuitive eventually. It's that I knew how to read it. So I didn't have to pay attention to the pattern because I just knew that even if I picked it up and I was like, oh, how many times have I slipped those ones?
Right.
Got to one, just move it out of the way a little bit and you can see the lines slip behind it. So it's like if there's only 2 lines, well, then you need to go 2 more. And if there's like, you know, especially if you're on the right side, it's or, you know, whichever side you're on, you should know that like, you know, whatever needs to be done. I think the only time I ever had problems is like near the beginning, you can see there's one repeat where I think I had only worked like half of the slip section. Right. So it was like, I thought I had enough, I thought I could look at how long the stitches were and figure it out. And so I was like, oh yeah, that's long enough. And then I did the cable part. And then when I went back the next time, I was like, oh no, that's way too short. So like it was kind of obvious after the fact, and I didn't go back and fix it because I was like, whatever. It's like right at the top.
Yeah.
In one of these, I think, and it's like whatever. But anyways, Sister KAL.
Sure.
So I mean, we've already talked about it the last couple episodes, but yesterday, I was like, what's the date today? Today's the 2nd. So on the 1st, officially, our Sister KAL started. Neither of us actually, oh my gosh, I can't talk anymore. Neither of us actually cast on, but if you did, awesome for you.
Yeah, high five.
So our Sister KAL is to knit, crochet, make of whatever kind you do. Some kind of, combine them two together. Some kind of spring/early summer garment. So we start on the 1st, May 1st. We'll end on June 15th. Make something. Make something that you will actually wear when you cast off, weather permitting. Obviously, if it's unseasonably cold or ridiculously hot and you're like, well, I intended to wear it, but now it's 45 degrees outside. Well, don't do it. Don't cook yourself. But maybe it's something you wear in the air conditioning to take that little chill off. Because, there's always that awkward, like, now it's a little too cold. Now it's a little too hot. I will have at least 2 cast-ons for this KAL. And I'm kind of also in my head counting my crochet project as also being maybe for this KAL-ish. We'll see. I don't think it'll be done by the 15th. We'll see how fast I get working on it, but probably not with all the other things. So I feel like I really have nothing to show that's worth showing, but this is my yarn for project number 1. This is one I mentioned last week, the composition sweater. So it's a long sleeve, but very, very super cropped sweater. It should come like to here-ish, that I may lengthen the front / the whole body.
Be like me.
I'm trying to decide. I'm like, part of me thinks like, what if I just lengthened the front and just made it like drop like below bust in the front and kind of do like a split hem, but like lower in the front.
When a gust of wind comes by and you're like, whee!
Whee!
It's just like up in your face and shaking it down.
Well, I was like, there's a couple ways I could do it. I was like, I could do a split hem and just do it like a loincloth in the front. Or I could short row it and then be still tied in. But what I worry about is rolling, that I'm gonna have to like actually like tuck it.
Those tuxedo things.
Or it's like a bra sweater. Like I'm gonna have to like tuck it under my boobs to get it. So I don't know. Not generally. A lot of the time when I go off pattern, it does not turn out well. So
stay tuned.
I'm either going to make a hot mess of this sweater or I'm going to be a genius and figure something out. I don't know which one. Probably the smartest thing to do would just be to lengthen the whole thing. I just worry that like I'm busty-ish on top. So especially depending on like what kind of bra I'm wearing, that it could end up like being too tight if I try to just keep going straight down. That I would need to add increases. What?
Oh, you cannot. Like the way
that's what I mean. Right, it's going to be like way too tight.
Yes.
So then I'm going to have to add increases, but I don't want it to be like a line. I don't know. I feel like I'm overthinking it. I should just leave it alone and not mess with it. Anyway, so this yarn is, the colorway is called Love Galore. I don't really know what the base is, just I don't know, like an 80-20 or something like that from Casual Fashion Queen. And it actually was an oversized hank. So altogether, it's 1,000 yards. And this is what my ball winder could hold. I posted a couple pictures when I was winding it because I was like, I wonder how much my ball winder actually can hold. And then the yarn was getting very close to the edge because I got a new ball winder. So it's like where the middle thing spins around instead of the arm moving back and forth. I don't know what they're called, what the styles are called, but the yarn was getting very close to the edge. And I was like, I just don't want to push it too far and have it start to like off the sides and then it's going to get all tangled. So I chickened out and stopped at, I think when I met, it was 161 grams. which is funny because the cake that's bigger looking, slightly bigger looking, this one, is actually less grams than this one because I think I was just holding the tension tighter. So I think this is actually 161 grams or something like that in this cake. So whatever. Just a fun fact, my Knitter's Pride ball winder. Did you see my video though of like how fast I was winding?
Oh, is that what the feature of that video was? I think I saw you winding. I think I saw.
I think in my stories I did like a boomerang.
Yeah, okay, that's what I saw.
In my actual post where I posted like the ball or the cake at the end, I also put in like a real-time video of me winding it because it was so fast.
Really?
Like if the skein is wound like that, it's gonna come apart nicely because of the Swift and the ball winder. So fast, like. And it's like, again, like with like the one that I tensioned and the one that I didn't, it's like you don't even have to hold it. Like, so I think I did this one without holding it really at all. And this one I was holding it a bit. Don't even like with a regular skein, if it was just 100 grams, like I probably wouldn't even bother holding it unless I thought it was going to get like tangled up or something. Anyways, like so happy. Makes it so much easier to just get them done. Anyways, so that's my one. And then my second one, Melissa Melissa Kremer, I think her last name is. Let's see if I can find it. Right there.
Oh, I don't know why I'm feeling, I think it's the gray all of a sudden. Like I'm on shutdown mode today.
Kemmerer? Sorry if that's pronounced wrong. Melissa Kemmerer posted a call for test knitters for this tank. Well, it's like
I'll put it up on the screen.
So blown out, you can't see it because it's white on a white background.
I'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah. So not a tank, sorry. I think she called it a sleeveless top. But basically it's like a tank, like a sleeveless tank with these like panels on the side of a contrast color. So I did some stash driving because I think it calls for sport weight. I did some stash driving and I didn't have enough of anything sport weight that I wanted to use to make it a spring summer top. I definitely have sport weight in wools that would have been enough yardage, but then I'm like, am I going to be roasting? Like, I know that like a good wool, like a sheepy wool will breathe more, but like, I think all the wools I have are all various types of superwash, like whether they're just kind of what you expect superwash or even like an organic kind of superwash. And I was like, oh, I'm just not sure that I want to feel like I'm cooking. And then if they're too warm for now, but they're sleeveless, they're not really going to be great for like say fall, winter either. So I was just like, I think I'm going to do something else. So I did have one skein. This is a sport weight 50/50 merino silk by Skeiny Dipping Yarns. And I think I got this from a D-stash or possibly a fiber share, but I think it's actually from a D-stash. So I was like, ooh, this would be great for the side panels. And then I have Laura from Crooked Kitchen Yarn dyeing me up my colorway for the front and back. And I can't remember what it's called. It's going to be like a beigey silver color with purple speckles and a little bit of like a greeny kind of speckle in there. Just teensy, like the speckly bits are not that much. But it's really, I think it's really pretty. So it'll make like, I was thinking about it, I'm like, why I go to different people for different things. Like, you know, when I want one thing, I go to this dyer. And when I want one thing, I go to another dyer or go to their shop to look for things. And it's like, when I want something that's like sophisticated but fun, I go to Laura. Because I feel like her aesthetic is just like, it's a bit more, yeah, it's just a bit more like refined, more sophisticated. Like, I don't think she has any like neons really, you know, like she has like some colors are kind of bright-ish, but not like crazy bright. I don't know how well that's going to show. Probably not well at all, but.
Probably just send me the picture again.
Yeah.
Yeah, just send me.
Anyways, it's called In the Gloaming. I don't know what that means.
You know.
Anyway, so yeah, she describes it as tan, gray, blush brown, purple, gold speckles. So speckles are like really like there's not a lot of purple in it, but just enough that I think it'll be like a fun neutral that I can actually wear quite a bit. And with that merino silk, I think it'll give it a little bit more lightness.
my Sister KAL, I spilled water on it. So it's over here, unscathed now. Yeah, it is going to be interesting when you work it up. Anyway, so this is
I feel like if you did it, like, yeah, if you did that Studio T, it would almost like stripe, or you get like a pooling, but it'll like shift slowly, like a diagonal kind of.
right.
It'll be interesting.
So I'm like apparently obsessed with boho chic, Annie Lupton, because I'm going to be using her yarn and her pattern. I don't think you said she does not dye anymore.
No.
Okay.
I think right now, if you go to her shop, she has like the last of her hand dyes, and she spins. So she does post her spun yarn from time to time, but she doesn't like dye like she used to.
Right. So this is some of the yarn that she has dyed before. It's the line was Free Spirit, and this colorway is called No Envy, just a superwash merino single ply fingering, which I can't remember anything about what people say about single ply. It's supposed to be not as strong.
It would be less strong for, say, a sock. It's okay. Like, it's good for shawls.
Yeah.
I have heard like it's not really recommended always for a garment that you want to be hard wearing because it could pill more.
Oh, okay.
I feel like for a tank kind of, or a tee, it'll be okay. I don't know. It just depends what your preference is.
I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah. It can be more pilly though, especially because it's 100% wool. There's no nylon or anything in it. Like that's nylon is often kind of what adds that strength when you want, like, say, a sock or something where it's going to have like a lot of wear and tear. I feel like partially because your hair is short, and it's not like if it was something with sleeves,
right, that's gonna be
like this rubbing on this, like you probably end up with like a lot of like underarm pilling. But I feel like in my experience anyways, like single ply, the pills are easy to take off. Like it's not like, I don't even think you have to like glean it every day. You just, maybe before you put it on the next time or after you take it off or whatever, you just have like a little bit of like fuzziness to kind of clip away or pull off or whatever.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. This is going to be the Studio Slub Tee.
I think it's just Studio Tee now. I think Slub part was taken out.
When I looked at it on Ravelry this morning, it still said Studio Slub.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Cool.
Just whatever you want to call it, I'll just insert a picture. That's what it's going to be. That's that top. Oh, I'm so excited. So, I hope, comment below. Are you going to join us for our KAL knitting? You can double dip. Do other, yeah. We want to know, are you going to join us and what your garment will be? That'd be awesome. Or if you know the pattern, post it on Instagram and hashtag us. Is the hashtag always going to be the same every time we do a Sister KAL, just OTL Sister KAL?
I think so. Just easier. Easier than trying to come up with new ones all the time.
Yeah.
And trying to keep them all straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hashtag it OTL Sister KAL.
So that's that for this week.
Yeah, cast on your Sister KAL project and, tag us on Instagram. Let us know what you're knitting. Show us your yarn. Comment below if you prefer. And we'll see you next week.
Yarn happy, people.
Yarn happy?
Yarn happy.
You're yarn happy right now.
Sniffing the eco fumes over here.
And the yarn fumes. All right. Check you later.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
Yarn happy. Bye.